Hi everybody, my name is Kirstyn and this is my first video blog talking about my journey into the gastric bypass world. I figured I would start a blog because this whole entire process has been crazy and I haven't even had the surgery yet and it's so crazy and I feel like typing it out doesn't necessarily do it justice for how I feel and the things that I'm going through. Like, it's crazy. And I figured for my first video, there's nothing better to talk about than why I chose gastric bypass surgery compared to conventional methods of weight loss. And if you would have asked me about gastric bypass 5 years ago, I probably would have told you it's a cop-out. I probably would have said it's only for people who are so obese that they can't get off the couch to work out. I would have thought that it's the easy way out. But I can tell you that as I'm sitting here right now, a lot more informed, that I am 100% sure that I am making the right decision in going through with this. In fact, I feel like in my life I've made a lot of poor decisions, especially when it revolves around what I've eaten and how I've exercised, that this decision is the best decision that I've ever made, and I don't regret it at all. It's definitely, like I said, been a journey already, and I don't regret a single moment of it, and I know that I won't a year from now when I feel a lot better. So, why gastric bypass? I guess I should start with I am 5'6". I weigh 257 pounds. I know that at one point I have weighed more than this, but probably no more than 275. So that throws me at like a BMI of like a 41, probably 41, 42. Not entirely sure. I'm 22, so I'm pretty young. That was one of my mom's concerns when I first started talking about this process, is you're so young, you have your whole life, and that's one of the reasons why I decided on the surgery, because I don't want to wait till I'm 500 pounds and stuck on a couch and can't do anything before I realize that I've missed out on a lot. And this will really help me. A lot of people say that they decide that they need this tool when they realized how much they love themselves and how much they like realize that they deserve better. And don't get me wrong, I do feel that way. I really do feel like I love myself and I'm doing this because I love myself, but I can't love myself like this. And I give props to the people who say that that they can embrace their body at any size, and because any size is beautiful, and I don't judge anybody. Obviously, I'm the last person to talk because I am obviously overweight myself, but I can't look in the mirror and see a beautiful person when I know that I may not be able to have kids because of my weight, and I can't be happy with myself knowing that like I have severe sleep apnea because of my weight crushing my throat like that. That's not beautiful to me, and I can't pretend that I'm confident when it comes to that when I'm not. And so I'm gonna fix it because I deserve better than that, and that's where like the part of me that cares about myself. I want to have kids one day, and my kids deserve a happy, healthy mom. I don't want to raise kids in this body. It's not fair to them. It's not fair to me, and I can't live like this. So, weight loss. Oh man. It's for some people it's hard to talk about, and that's been my whole life. I would go to doctor's appointments and they'd be like, well, just eat better and work out more. And the one thing that I remember when I had my first orientation about this, when I wasn't even completely aware of like the whole entire process of gastric bypass surgery, was they said obesity is a disease, not a character flaw. And before, I always thought of my weight as a character flaw. I always thought like I did this to myself. I deserve to be trapped like this because I made these bad choices. And don't get me wrong, I've made a lot of bad choices. Obviously, I didn't magically get to 257 pounds all on my own. Or I did get to 257 pounds all on my own. Nobody put food in my mouth for me. I did it. But it really is a disease, and it deserves to be treated as any other disease, especially when it comes to food addiction. And as compared to any other addiction, it's not as simple as what people think it is to just stop. Especially for people like me. I have 2 conditions that make losing weight a lot harder than what it does for most people. I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is pretty kind of common in retrospect to my other syndrome, but it's still not very well understood. And one of the ways that I'm very blessed is my bariatric doctor that I see for my program. Aside from specializing in bariatric care, she studied endocrinology for an additional 4 years, specifically working in the area of polycystic ovarian syndrome. So she's very well informed about how this is affecting me. It affects my hormones. She was telling me things that I didn't even know were a thing for polycystic. Like, I didn't know that eating brown rice for me as a polycystic person is not a good thing, because my body, the way it processes it, it holds on to it and it stores it as fat. So I get acne. Actually, I pretty much get a lot of the things that come with polycystic, but we can talk about that later. The second one is even less understood and heard of, and it's called oral allergy syndrome. To put it in a simplified manner, I am allergic to fruits and vegetables. And most people, when they hear that, they kind of go like, she's joking, right? No, I'm not joking, sadly. I can kind of talk about that later on too, but essentially if I eat them, especially if they're raw, my lips will blister, my tongue will swell, and I could go into anaphylactic shock. And it's dangerous, painful, uncomfortable, and it doesn't work. I was treated with allergy shots for years and they never helped, and I was told that there was a possibility because of how severe my allergies are that they would never get better, and I kind of just had to suck it up. And I felt, especially before I really understood gastric bypass, I felt condemned to my body because you've got polycystic, you can't eat fruits and vegetables, like, you're just gonna be fat. Like, what are your other options? All I can eat, I'm also lactose intolerant, so that leaves me with meat and carbs. And I said, well, if I can't eat anything healthy anyway, I might as well just fill myself with junk because it tastes good and it makes me feel good. So I might as well just live it up, right? Because this is all you're gonna get. And that was a terrible way of thinking. So when I sat in my first bariatric doctor's appointment, it was the first time I had ever felt like this wasn't entirely my fault. She looked at me and told me that I was genetically built for failure and that my polycystic ovarian syndrome can be cured the moment that they put a staple line in my stomach. And hearing that meant so much to me because I want to be a mom one day, and right now I don't think I can have kids, and I want that opportunity. And I want to sleep at night and not worry about not breathing in my sleep. I don't want heart disease. I don't want to have a stroke. I don't want any of these complications that are implemented by my weight. And hearing somebody say that this wasn't all my fault was the best thing ever, because I come from a really health conscious family. My mom and my brother don't have a weight problem. My mom used to run marathons, and especially when I was an adolescent and before I knew that I had this food allergy, she was very like, make better choices, work out, and I'm sitting there going, it hurts to eat fruits and vegetables, and nobody believes me, they think I'm crazy. But like, I feel like the odd one out in my family, and I feel like trapped. I really feel trapped. And I hate seeing everybody else, like, it's hard. Being obese is hard, and my surgeon even told my mom at one point that, like, you will never understand what it's like to be obese until you are obese. So for people who are smaller and, like, even if they're smaller and they don't work out very often, and they can say, I hate working out, when you are 257 pounds, and I can't even imagine what it would be like to be any bigger than I am and trying to work out, because it is painful. It hurts your back, it hurts your knees, and you don't see progress, and it's extremely discouraging, and just, this isn't my body. I wasn't always this big, so like, why can't it just, I don't know. But my mom used to say, like, well, maybe she's just not trying hard enough, and like, how do you know the line of like when surgery is the best way to go? And I think for me it was like, I tried Nutrisystem and I tried following the rules, and I got extremely sick. They thought my gallbladder was freaking out. I was in and out of the ER and doctor's office multiple times a week. My stomach was in searing pain, and it was because I was forcing myself to eat these vegetables and stuff. Even with my allergies, I'd just take a ton of Zyrtec and then just try to manhandle them, because I cared so much about my weight that I wanted to get it down. And I was eating healthy food, and I was eating healthy portions, and I was staying active and doing all these things that I should be doing that everybody else could do and probably lose weight. And I did lose weight. I lost about 10 pounds, but I had to stop because I was literally burning holes in my stomach. That's when I really started developing acid reflux, and it was just a mess. And I think seeing how hard I fell with that, and then after that I was like, I'm not giving up. I can't give up. So I got a gym membership, and I worked out every other day or every day. And I worked out hard. I was at the gym for at least 2 hours, and when you only see 4 pounds come off the scale after being in the gym every other day after a month, that's like the most disheartening thing, because like, losing 1 to 2 pounds a week is technically a healthy weight loss, but when you're this big, it's usually a little more when you're working as hard as what I was. And I was still being conscious about what I was eating. I'd stopped eating out. I'd stopped drinking sodas completely, and I still have. I'm soda clean for a good 4 months, maybe a little less, about 4 months. And I recently, within the past month, stopped drinking juices because it's all empty calories and sugar. So, given up all that, I've made a lot of sacrifices, but it's not getting better. And that's why I decided it's not getting better, and I deserve better. And if I'm 22 and I'm hitting my last resort, at least I'm smart enough to see it. And I remember sitting in an orientation class, and there was a guy behind me who was probably twice my size, and my mom asked the nurse who was running the orientation, like, is she too young? Is she not big enough? Like, is this really drastic? Because it's surgery, it's major surgery, they're rearranging your intestines, it's not something to be taken lightly. And she just said, is it too much? And the guy interrupted my mom and interrupted the nurse, and he said, the one thing I wish I would have done is done it sooner. And I'm living by that. I don't want to wait till it's almost too late. I don't want to wait until my whole life has gone by. I want to do it now. I want to fix this. I want to own up to my mistakes and not make them again. And I know I'm going to screw up. I'm going to have bad days. I'm going to have weight stalls. But I'm going to get better. I have to. So, thank you guys. I figured I'd been talking long enough, so. I hope you like this video, and I hope that you guys follow me on my progress, because any bit of support is huge for somebody like me. And any ounce of support you can give me, I can give back tenfold, because it's a journey, and mine's just beginning, and I hope I can see all of you through it to the end. Thanks, guys.